What is up, everybody? How you doing? 25 Kid Brandon is back. It's been a while since I've been on YouTube. A little too long, even in this channel. So, just to give you what's going on right now, I'm home safe. Janet's home safe. We're okay during these strange times. So, with this whole free time on my hands, I guess I'll talk about WrestleMania 36 that just passed this past Saturday and Sunday. And I'll just be straight up front with everybody. This wasn't even a WrestleMania. This was just in name only. And how the show is really affected thanks to this, of course, world crisis that we're all going through. And it was difficult for me to watch it at home because it didn't feel like WrestleMania. Because, without crowds in the attendance, there really isn't anything you could do. And this is one of the biggest shows of the year, and I can't blame WWE for this. They got dealt with a bad hand. And my opinion was to just postpone the whole show until things cooled down. But, the old saying goes, the show must go on. And watching the matches from both nights, some were good, some were bad. Personally, this show, night one was actually really good. Night two, it had some middle thumb type of deal going on. But in any cases, this is WrestleMania in name only. And it's just kind of difficult, watching without a crowd. And I give props to all the wrestlers out there who were doing the best damnedest they could do in this time. So hopefully things will cool down as the month or so rolls by. So, without further ado, here's my thoughts and opinions on some of the matches here in WrestleMania. I have my notes on the table. So, we get our first match, which is Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss, or as I call them, Bliss Cross, versus the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane. This match, it was not bad. I thought it was a good match. Like, the MVPs of this whole entire match was, of course, Kairi Sane and Asuka. They were yelling, screaming like banshees in the night. They were wrestling like they were in Japan, in their home turf. And so, honestly, this was an okay match. Some of the spots were good. I really like how Kairi did her Air Kairi Sane elbow to break the pin from Alexa Bliss. And what can I say about this match? This match is just sort of a warm-up just to get the show started. We got our new tag team champions, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. At this point, in my honest opinion, who cares about the women's tag team division? There is no tag team division. You only have like one or two teams in there, and you could just trade them off, and it's just nothing. Like, the women's tag team division is nothing, honestly. But I give props for this match. I give it 3.5 stars. Okay opener so far. Second match on the card is, of course, I think the women's title match between Becky Lynch and Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler going into WrestleMania was like Brock Lesnar in his 6-month, his first run in WWE, his 6-month tenure, and then he won the title. Shayna Baszler's a 2-time NXT Women's Champion. She killed all the ladies in the Elimination Chamber. She brutalized every single one of them. She was like Brock. She's a female Brock Lesnar for sure. And Becky Lynch, 1-year champion for a long time. My predictions were that they were going to drop the strap onto Shayna and have Becky chase for the belt as they should, because right now Becky Lynch is kind of stale and there's nobody to challenge her at this point. This match was short. I was starting to like this match. I was drifting in and out for like a few minutes in, but yeah, I mean, Becky retained. I really didn't like how she retained the belt, and I'm assuming that if the rumors are true that Becky Lynch did, I mean, not Becky Lynch. If Vince is soured on Shayna Baszler, then it don't look good. Yeah, it don't look good, and I hope they have a second idea of a plan where they're going to have Shayna get the belt from Becky later down in the summertime. Hopefully that happens. Oh yeah, I skipped the match because it's a skippable match, which is Baron Corbin versus Elias Sampson. It's a 1-star match for me. I really don't care. I like Elias. I used to care about Baron Corbin until they just screwed him over. You take a guy that was hot on NXT, and I liked him for a good period, and then he goes to the main roster and he just craps the bed. He's like, they just made him crap the bed, actually. And I'm very upset that they didn't really give him a better opportunity. He wins the Money in the Bank, only for him to lose it to Jinder Mahal of all people, and then lose to John Cena on that SummerSlam. And here we are today. He's the king of the ring. He was chosen by Vince for Kurt Angle to retire on. They chose him to face Kurt Angle in his retirement match at WrestleMania 35 last year. Simply a waste, in my opinion. Simply a damn waste. The women's title match, I give it, 3.25 stars. It was good up until the finish. Becky won via pin, so yeah. 2, we got, so the next match, we got the IC title. It's Sami Zayn versus Daniel Bryan. Sorry. But basically, this was a good match, but this match was also short. You had Bryan coming out with Drew Gulak from Chikara. I really like Drew Gulak. He's a really good wrestler. Hopefully they do something with him in the near future down the line. You got you got Sami Zayn with Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. Hearing those two names, I wish they were bigger stars than what they are right now. So this match was pretty okay, I guess. Sami Zayn won with a haluva kick out of nowhere just as Bryan was about to jump from the top ropes, just clocked him dead in the jaw. And yeah, 3.25 stars. Sammy retains. Moving on to the next. So, what was supposed to be a tag team title match for the SmackDown tag team titles in a ladder match, mind you, we ended up getting a triple threat match. And for those who are not in the know, or for those who are in the know, is that The Miz got sick. They said he was quote unquote pretty much injured. Let me do air quotes again. Injured. He's actually sick. Sick from what? We don't know. But he is being self-quarantined. And so pretty much everybody else was in the back or they're at home chilling. So you had John Morrison representing Miz and Morrison, the Dirt Sheet duo, against Jimmy Uso of the Uso brothers, or is it Jay? They look alike. I'm just saying, And then of course you got Kofi Kingston, and it's a triple threat match, basically a straight up triple threat ladder match for the tag team titles. This match I really enjoyed. I like this match for a lot of reasons. Most of the spots, Kofi did a Hurricane Rana from the ladder onto Morrison. Uh, Jimmy took a nasty fall from the ladder, and I think Kofi whacked Morrison in the head with the ladder. The finish was actually pretty good and clever. I actually like this. This reminds me of the finish from TNA where it was, if I recall, it was AJ Styles against Chris Sabin, and who else? It was a triple threat match. It's not in the top of my head right now, but I think it was Christopher Daniels. I'm not sure. So what happened was, as all three men were on the ladder, apparently Morrison grabbed the belts just as both Kofi and Jimmy Uso grabbed like the placeholder thing for the titles, and Morrison retains by taking the belt and just falling flat on his back onto the steel ladders, and that must have sucked for Morrison. I feel bad for the brother. So anyway, Miz and Morrison retains. I mean, this was a really done good match. These guys just killed it. Like, it was just amazing. So I give this match a good, fair, solid 3 stars. Not bad. You know, it wasn't the greatest ladder match of all time. It's just a serviceable ladder match. So, what's the next match here? We've got Kevin Owens versus the Messiah himself, Seth Rollins. They've been feuding for months now. And originally it was just a regular match, but then I think it was, and then it changed it to a no disqualification match. So this match I really enjoyed as well. A lot of back and forth. I felt bad for Owens after he got hit really. He just bounced off after Seth Rollins hit a Falcon's arrow off the area in the area on the ring. Sorry, tongue tied here. So Seth Rollins hit a Falcon's arrow on the worst part of the ring side, and he just bounced off. Kevin Owens bounced off, and so Kevin Owens, I think they fought pretty much around the ring up until they got to the announce desk. So I think Owens knocked Seth Rollins out with the ring bell, which sucked. And then Seth was knocked out. He was laid out. And Kevin Owens was like, I'm not ending this match like this. So he goes up to where the Wrestlemania 36 pirate sign is. Just hits a elbow drop on him. He got the win. He got the pin in the win. I give this match a solid 3-star match from these guys. You know, they were killing it. Seth Rollins looking like Jesus. I'm sorry. He looked like a weird version of Jesus, and it scared the hell out of me. And from what I was told, Vince McMahon hates him wearing white. This is the first time we've seen Seth Rollins wear white. The last time he wore white, it was against him and John Cena at that year's SummerSlam a couple of years ago for the United States Championship, because at the time, Seth was WWE champion and Cena was US champion. And at that time, he looked like the White Ranger from Power Rangers. And then next thing you know, Ronda Rousey did the same thing later on. But that's another story for another time. So our next match is, of course, the WWE Universal Championship match. I hate this match so much. It sucked. It really sucked. It was a straight up, what can you do? Damn if you do, damn if you don't type of deal. And so it was originally supposed to be Roman Reigns to face off against Goldberg for the title at WrestleMania. It was going to be spear versus spear. That is until we got most of the news about what's going on now. And so Roman Reigns, being a guy who had leukemia twice, he had to pull out. He had to pull out for not for the sake of his health, for his family, and I get that, and I don't like how people just went down his throat like that. That was just stupid. So they decided to replace him with Braun Strowman, the same Braun Strowman that basically had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to be the WWE champion or the Universal champion. And even after all that, he failed. And I was saying to myself, okay, they didn't put him on the title the first time, fine. Didn't put him on the second title on the time, fine. And I said, this is it. This was at the Saudi Arabia show. This was at the time when Roman was actually sick. When leukemia came back and got him, they had to come up with plan B, Braun Strowman. He loses to Brock Lesnar in less than a minute or two, and that was it. This match was so bad, I basically just turned it off. I turned it off because I didn't want it, or I just skipped it. I just skipped it because I didn't care anymore. And this is coming from a guy who's a Goldberg fan. I like Goldberg. He didn't need to win the title from The Fiend. And I'll get to The Fiend a little bit later. But, God, I hated this match. This match lasted no longer than a minute or two. It was spear, 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 spear from Goldberg. Tries his best to do a jackhammer. I'm just like, Goldberg, you don't got it anymore, man. I love you. I really do, and I respect you, Goldberg. You're a Hall of Famer. You're a legend. You are my dude. But no, sir. You can't do it anymore. With all due respect. And so we get Braun Strowman as your new WWE Universal Champion. Who cares? I don't care. It's like, what can you do? You got one of your top stars sitting in the back at home because he's feared that he's going to get sick. And again, as I said before, I have no problem him pulling out. Do what you got to do. However, you should have just kept it on Goldberg. Just hold it on Goldberg until later. But they're just like, we got to get the belt off Goldberg. So they chose Braun Strowman instead. I'm just like, fine. This is easily just a 1-star match. And then we get to the main event. This I loved. This was by far the coolest main event ever, as I would call it, or as I call it, the main event that didn't take place in the Performance Center. This had no commentary, no crowds. This was just a straight up match. And I'm talking about the Boneyard match between AJ Styles and the return of one of my favorite variations of The Undertaker, minus the Retro Phenom Taker, or the Assassin's Creed Taker, or Sith Taker. I'm talking about Big Evil, the American Badass, The Undertaker returned. He actually returned weeks ago. So it turns out that this whole feud was built on during the Saudi Arabia show last February. And it was for that stupid trophy. I forgot the IKEA trophy, whatever it was called. So basically, AJ Styles has been punking Undertaker, calling out his wife. There was a back and forth with that, but this match was really fun. This felt like just a cinematic film from beginning to end. So basically, you had AJ come out from a hearse inside of a casket, like the Crypt Keeper. Ah! And then, of course, you had Undertaker come out in a bike to Metallica. Now, that doesn't scream American Badass. I don't know what is. I was hoping he'd come out to Fred Durst's Roland, but I kind of remembered they don't like him no more. So this match was really good. I enjoyed it for what it was. It was a back and forth. AJ and basically Taker and AJ were talking trash. It was hilarious. One of my favorite spots in the match was when Undertaker had a rock, and as AJ was near the window from the passenger side of the hearse, he hits it with his arm. His arm starts. He breaks the window, hits his arm. He's like, "Son of a b!" And I'm just like, this is the good old biker Taker that I remembered back in 2000, 2001. So it was a good back and forth. You had Guns and Gallows, or Anderson and Gallows, however you want to call them. I call them Guns and Gallows because I'm a New Japan guy. So they come out and attack Taker. They got some pretty good offense, but Taker beat him down. And then, of course, out of nowhere, you had the Druids, who I forgot to mention were opening the doors for AJ from the from outside of the hearse to from the casket. The Druids come out from this cabin in the woods. This cabin looked like a bigger version from Evil Dead. And Taker is surrounded by him. He's like, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And he pretty much took all of them out as quick as possible as he did. Then, after that, I think Guns N' Gallows came back and attacked him. Can't remember as much. I just watched it last night. And so, as Taker was giving them a beating, all of a sudden, I said, cue AJ's attack. AJ attacked him. Square in the back, beat him down, called him an old B. And I remember I forgot to mention this. As Taker was rolling in, he's like, Taker, you're here. I didn't know your wife let you out at this time of night. And I'm just like, AJ gonna get murdered. So AJ took control of the second half of the Boneyard match. Then as AJ's beating him down, I think he broke his finger. He's like, "Man, you broke my finger." And they were beating each other like inside the cabin or outside the cabin, and so Taker's taking this beating. Taker taking this beating. I know. AJ just beats him down into the plot that he had buried for him, and he had a truck with some dirt. He was gonna pour it down, and then out of nowhere, Taker was like, "Surprise, mother," and all of a sudden AJ's like, "He's behind me, isn't he?" Turns around, Taker's beating him up. Guns and Gallows are trying to help out AJ while they're climbing on top of the roof of the place. I think AJ was trying to get away from Taker at one point, and then Taker used fire powers. I was thinking, is Kane coming out? He's like, nope. And I realized, the mayor of Knoxville County, he's self-quarantining and making sure everything is okay in Knoxville County. So, back and forth onto the roof, I think on top of the house, the roof, whatever. Guns and Gallows comes back. AJ's knocked out for a little bit. I think Taker chokeslammed Gallows. And I recall Taker basically just tombstoning Anderson. So then he takes AJ, chokes him down onto some type of wooden chair or wooden thing. I don't know what it's called. Taker's looking at him like, he's like, "What's my wife's name again? Huh? What'd you say, boy? You was talking all that mess. What's her name again?" And he's just being like, "Don't you ever disrespect my wife again." AJ's getting the tar beat out of him. He's trying to run away. AJ's like, I'm sorry. And Taker's like, "Oh, you sorry? You sorry?" So Taker's hugging him. He's like, You put up a good fight, boy, more than the rest of them. And as he was standing him up after that hug, I was thinking, is he going to do the last rides on him? Nope, he just basically just did this is Sparta kick, dropped him into the grave. Done deal. It's over. Arrivederci. Used the truck to bury him. As Taker is about to leave, he picks up his bandana, and I said, Taker, you might want to dust that off. You don't know if it got dirt or anything on it. So he rides off in the bike, and before he rides off, he did his whole Undertaker fist thing. And the flames come up, and it shows his logo, and he rides into the night. To the Bat Cave, to the Undertaker cave, to the cemetery, whatever, or to his house to drink a beer. Yeah, this match was a solid 4 stars. This was what I considered the main event of the night, the match of the night. This was really a good match. So night 1 kicked off. It was a good sort of an Orange Cassidy thumbs up type of deal. Yeah, night 1 of WrestleMania was entertaining for the most part. So we get to night 2, and night 2 was alright too. We got the NXT Women's Championship match. Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley. Going into this match, Charlotte had won the Women's Royal Rumble this year. Rhea Ripley showed up the following Monday Night Raw to, tell Charlotte, hey, if there's one champion you want to take on me. 2 weeks later in NXT in Portland, NXT TakeOver Portland, after Rhea Ripley retained the title from Bianca Belair, Charlotte came out and decided to challenge her for the title. Now, with this match, I had a bit of an issue with this match. And my issues were, once again, no crowds, but that's besides that. My issues with this match was, it was okay. It was okay. They had some back and forth offense. Props to Miss Rhea Ripley for rocking her little Vegeta outfit on. Straight up from Planet Vegeta was good. So the match was good. It was basically Charlotte being a heel as per usual. She's just fighting her, beating her up a little bit. And then we get to like the near end of the match where she hits the figure 4 and then she did the figure 8 on her. And at that moment, I was saying to myself, this is a perfect. I was saying to myself, this is not going to be the end of the match. And Rhea Ripley is just punching and hitting her as much as she can to get her off. But she was locked in pretty good and it looked painful. The only thing I was upset about in this match was that Charlotte won. And Charlotte didn't really need to win this match. She won the title. I didn't like it because Charlotte doesn't really need the NXT Women's Championship. This is her second time winning the title. The only thing I from what I've read on the reports is that Rhea Ripley's work visa has, I think, been suspended or ran out. So she was forced to vacate the belt because of that, and she's quarantined back in Australia. So I was a little disappointed about this. They could have kept the belt on her, but they were just drop it to Charlotte. That's all. So I give this match 3.5 stars. Not bad. The match was alright. I was really looking forward to this match, but I was a bit disappointed because it didn't go on a little bit longer than it should. These women's matches have been getting a little shorter. Except for that 5-way match, and I'll get to that soon. So we get to a match that I didn't think was going to happen, but here we are. Aleister Black versus Bobby Lashley Uh, Bobby Lashley showed up with Lana. They're still doing this angle. I don't care about this angle. Aleister Black came out looking like something straight out of Game of Thrones. He had this hood on, draped looking cool as hell. You know, seeing him live and in person was really dope. So the match was just average. The match was an average match. There was a cool spot where he did it. He did a moonsault. Lashley moved out. He was looking like, which way did he go? Which way did he go? And he just got knocked out by Lashley. And this match was pretty decent at best. It was average, 2-star match. Lashley got distracted because of Lana, and Aleister Black got the win. So, whoop-de-doo. All I have to say is, Lashley, you better get rid of this girl. She bad news. She bad news Barrett, if you're telling me. We get to what I call revenge. Dolph Ziggler versus Otis of Heavy Machinery. This match was average too, but the storytelling was good. So, to go back into the story here. So, they did this love angle with Otis and Mandy Rose. They liked each other. And I really liked this storyline between Otis and Mandy Rose. I think it was good for the most part. And what happened was Otis got stood up. He showed up to the date with Mandy Rose, and all of a sudden, there's Dolph Ziggler. Never have I heard Dolph Ziggler get this much heat since his time as a member of the Spirit Squad. That's how big it was. And what else happened? So during those SmackDown events, we get some weird person on the video saying the truth will be revealed, and it turns out that Sonya Deville was the culprit who tricked Otis, and she was working with Dolph Ziggler. You kind of get the picture of what we're going through. So this storyline was good. So basically, you got Otis beating up Dolph Ziggler a little bit. Dolph Ziggler gets some offense by crotching him thanks to distracting from Sonya Deville. So Mandy Rose shows up, like, in the tailgate end of the match. She just gave her former friend and tag team partner of Fire Desire, Sonya Deville, a good 5 fingers to the face slap. A pimp slap, if you. That was a slap that I could hear throughout the Bronx. And so Otis won the match. We finally get a payoff. He got the kiss. I really like this story. I don't know where they're going to go from here. You know, she's probably going to be with Heavy Machinery for a while until they turn on each other, until Mandy Rose turns on him, and I hope that's a later time. So, that's good. Then we get to one of the most well-booked storytelling, most promotedly booked match. The last man standing match between Edge and Randy Orton. Edge, who's been out for 9 years. 9 years. Since WrestleMania 27. I was at that WrestleMania where Edge defended the title against Alberto Del Rio for the World Heavyweight Championship. That was the first match on the card. I remember how it was yesterday. Edge won the title, and then just about, I think, a week or two later, Edge was forced to relinquish the belt because of his messed up neck, and he had to retire, which was sad because I was an Edge fan throughout the time. So, comes back this year, January, the Royal Rumble, comes out to a roaring applause. 9 years. And I was emotionally driven. I was happy to see him. That first spear was excellent, even though WWE production team screwed up. So, yeah, so this whole feud between him and Edge started when he came back on Monday Night Raw. Edge was saying, "I'm going to retire on my terms." Randy Orton's like, "You my brother, you my friend. Even though if I was in down in a hole, stuck in my addictions, you were the only guy that I looked out for." And so after that, Edge and Randy Orton embraced. He was like, let's try and get back the old Rated RKO team." And I actually like Rated RKO. I even like their theme song. I remember playing it when I was in middle school. So Orton turned on Edge and explained that he shouldn't have never came back. And then Beth Phoenix, his wife, shows up, basically calling him out as an a-hole. And then Randy Orton said something disparaging. He slaps her. I mean, she slaps him. Excuse me. She slaps him, and then kicks him in the crotch or in the gut, and then she got an RKO. And I haven't seen Randy Orton RKO a woman since Nia Jax at the Royal Rumble. And I also recall him RKOing what's her name, Stacy Keibler, his on-screen girlfriend at the time. So this match, for most fans, this was a mixed match. Some say it was boring. There was a part in the match where Edge and Randy Orton were just beating up each other. By the way, Randy Orton just came in, snuck behind him. And one thing I want to add to note before I continue, I'm sorry if I'm being off the wall. I was kind of upset that they never gave... I was kind of upset that this is Edge's first WrestleMania back since 27. This is his first WrestleMania since WrestleMania 27, and he's coming out to no crowd. We don't get the pyro. We don't get any of that. And it's just sad. Orton snuck up behind him as he came out. He came out like a cameraman, and they just went back and forth. They fought in the back behind the curtain. They fought at the hallways. They fought at where the wrestlers trained. With all the equipment. I'm still shocked it's still repaired after the little backstage brawl between Gargano and Ciampa. So a lot of people were upset that you had Randy Orton hooking Edge to one of the weight rack things. I can't recall. And some said that reminded them of the Benoit thing, because for those who are unaware, or whoever hasn't watched Dark Side of the Ring, check it out on Vice on YouTube. It's a pretty sad sight, because Benoit committed suicide via choking himself with one of the weight machines. So I can understand why a lot of people were upset about that. For me, I can't really say at this point it was in poor taste. Not necessarily for me, but Edge used one of the pull-up bars to propel himself onto Randy Orton as Randy Orton was sitting down. You know, they brawled at the conference room, and that was bad. They hit the wall. They were hitting each other with the wall. It was hella crazy. Like, they were going everywhere. And I just felt like this match took way too long. It felt like this match took like 15, 20, over 30 minutes. They gave him a lot of time. And half the time I was, veering off from it, and I didn't want to see anymore. But the one part that I really liked was that they were where the I guess you could say the storage room, or like storage room place in the performance center, just whacking each other with anything they could find. Edge climbed up the ladder. I was like, "Hello, ladder, my old friend." And he hits an elbow onto Orton as he was on the table where the interview side was. And it was nuts. And then, of course, we get to like the emotional parts. And I remember, I think it was when they were in the weight room. He was like, I always love you. You were always my brother. It was just, they were really, they were really selling this thing. Like, they really wanted to kill each other. And so the last parts of the match was that they were both wrestling where the truck was. I remember Orton hitting a DDT onto Edge on the truck. And then Randy Orton and Edge fought up to the where the I think the big truck where they have the stuff in the ring stuff and whatever. And Randy Orton was using the old punt kick move that he does. And then out of nowhere, I think Edge reversed it or he got hit, but Edge fought back. And I think I don't know if he did it. No, Edge did a spear, and I think he DDT'd him, or Edge took this, or Orton took the spear. Sorry, I'm trying to remember everything as much as I can. So this match was very long. We see just Edge emotionally crying. He was like, he's my best friend. He's been with me since for a while and everything else. And then Orton, and as the referee's counting, Edge was telling him, don't you effing count. And then so he placed Randy Orton to where Orton did a concerto onto him. He hits him with the chair. Orton did not get up from the 10 count in the last man standing match, and Edge won. This was a long match. I enjoyed it. I give it a 4-star match. This was an emotionally driven match. Props to Edge. First WrestleMania back. Got his big WrestleMania moment. Got his big WrestleMania win. Easily, this was, for me, second match of the night. Crazy. Then we get to, of course, the Raw Tag Team title match. It's the Street Profits against Austin Theory and Angel Garza. I give the Street Profits credit. They were hyped up like the hype bros. They were hyped up like crazy. You know, Montez Ford, I just give him like a seal of approval. Him and the big guy, I keep forgetting his name. Angelo Dawkins. Yeah, Angelo Dawkins. Yeah, I can't even remember the guy's name. Angelo Dawkins. So they retain the belts. 3.25 stars. It was a good match for what it was. I didn't really care. Not that I don't care about the Street Profits. It's just that this sucks without a crowd, and they were just hyping things up as they did. Bianca Belair came out, so I'm assuming Bianca Belair has graduated from NXT to the main roster. God help her, and hopefully she doesn't get lost in the shuffle like half the women on this roster. Then we get to a match that I didn't expect to like, but I like it anyway. And it is the women's 5-way match. It was supposed to be a 6-way, but what's her name? I forgot her name. It escapes me. One of the women called out sick. So the 5-way women's match was between Bayley, Sasha Banks, Naomi, the woman's right giver. The woman's right giver. I'm sorry, it's been a while. I can't remember all these names, but it was Sasha. It was Becky. I mean, no, not Becky. Bayley, Sasha Banks, Naomi, Tamina of all people. Tamina got big. I'm just saying, she looking big. I don't mean to disrespect somebody's weight or anything, but she looking big. So it was sort of a back and forth match. This match was kind of a train wreck a little bit. One of my favorite parts of the match was when Michael Cole was announcing loudly as he could. I can hear him through the replays too. And Bayley was like, "No, I'm not," as she's just holding up pain. So this whole storyline of this match is, will Sasha turn on Bayley or will Bayley turn on Sasha? So, first person to get eliminated, obviously the person to get eliminated was Tamina because, of course, Tamina is the fall person. Then, oh yeah, I forgot. There's a little Easter egg on this match. It was Tamina, Sasha Banks, and Naomi standing in the same ring because when Sasha was being brought up to the main roster, you had her as part of Team Bad. And they did their whole little Shield thing, and they're like, Unity! And I was like, Black Sisters do it again, until Tamina attacked Sasha and took out Naomi. Like I said before, she was eliminated. I'm talking about Tamina. The second person to be eliminated in this match was, of course, if I recall correctly, it was Tamina that got eliminated. And then it was Sasha, Bayley, and Lacey Evans. Now I remember, Lacey Evans. Sorry, it escaped me. So Lacey Evans was the last one. They're taunting her. And then there was a point where, as Lacey Evans was on the left side of the corner, Bayley was going to attack her. Sasha hold her down, and then Bayley knocked Sasha out. Sasha ended up getting pinned after Lacey Evans woke back up from being roller skating, if you will. And then basically you had Bayley. Oh no, wait. So as Sasha was looking at Bayley like, "Why you hit me?" She's like, "I'm sorry, I didn't know. We were in this together, right?" And so Lacey Evans hits a women's right. Bayley countered it, hits to Sasha, doesn't care that Sasha is out of the match. So yeah, Sasha is eliminated. And so the end of the match kind of got me upset. I actually wanted Lacey Evans to win. It looked like she had the match in the bag. If not Lacey Evans, then Sasha Banks. I would have preferred either or. So Sasha comes back, I think hits a backstabber. And then Bayley took the win. So this storyline between Sasha and Bayley isn't over yet. So yeah, and then we get to what I call if Freakazoid and Superman teamed up to face the Joker and the Mask, and were taking and then took a trip to Pee-wee's Playhouse. Ladies and gentlemen, the match of the night, in my opinion, of Night 2 of WrestleMania, is, of course, the Firefly Funhouse match between John Cena and Bray Wyatt, or the Fiend Bray Wyatt, whichever you prefer, same dude. So the build-up of this match was 6 years ago, WrestleMania 30. John Cena took on Bray Wyatt, which could have made Bray Wyatt into a star. John Cena beats him. Bray Wyatt gets lost in the shuffle. And he credits John Cena for everything. The Firefly Funhouse, The Fiend, Ramblin' Rabbit, Abby the Witch, Buzzy the Buzzard, Huskus the Pig, the McMahon doll, all of that. He credits John Cena because he let the voices in. So this match starts out, John Cena comes out first saying, "Hey everybody, it's Russell," and then all of a sudden everything just goes blank. So I'm going to talk about this match in short detail because there's more to this match that I want to talk about. So all I can say is this was a well-produced match. I give this a solid 4 stars. The whole Firefly Funhouse thing. It's like if Pee Wee Herman and Pee Wee's Playhouse was taken into a darker turn. It's like if Pee Wee just was stuck in Arkham Asylum. He creates the Pee Wee's Playhouse just to appease him, but also take victims there to kill. So this was sort of like, what if Freakazoid, Joker, The Mask, in Pee-wee's Playhouse, and everything goes topsy-turvy and Superman has to go out and save the day. But other than that, the match was awesome. There was a lot of Easter eggs for everything, and I will explain that in another video. And it's just crazy. This match was just off the wall crazy. And after the match was over, after Bray Wyatt defeated John Cena, Titus O'Neil, who became the second host after Gronk got knocked out by his good old buddy Mojo Rawley for the 24/7 title. I don't even want to talk about that. I used to have love for the 24/7 title, and R-Truth is barely keeping that thing alive. It ain't got no damn post. Screw that title. Love R-Truth, but this title doesn't make any sense. But you had Titus O'Neil hosting the show for a little bit, and as they closed off the match, the Firefly Funhouse match, Titus O'Neil had the same face that I had. He's like, I don't know what to say. And I just laughed. And I was like, yeah, I was saying to Titus, dude, you don't even know the half of it, because guess what? I'm in the same boat as you. I don't know what the hell happened. So we get to the main event. To me, the Firefly Funhouse should have been the damn main event, but we have to end WrestleMania on a happy note. So we got the WWE Championship match between Brock Lesnar, Mr. Shows Up When He Wants To, Shows Up When He Has To, Brock Lesnar, the Beast Incarnate, the reigning and defending WWE Champion, the man who beat the man at WrestleMania 30 for the streak, takes on Drew freaking McIntyre, the Scottish psychopath. And this was a Cinderella story told from beginning to end. Drew McIntyre is by far what I considered one of the best wrestlers going today, in my opinion. And looking at his career throughout his entire life, looking at his career in his first run in WWE, he had something. He was handpicked by Vince McMahon as the chosen one. Guy wins the Intercontinental title. Then all of a sudden, his ex-wife and his ex-wife Taryn Terrell ruined it for him. They got into an argument to where he was beaten up like a scalded dog, to the point where his push was derailed. He was done. Lost the Intercontinental title. Had to go through a career change as being a jobber and a member of 3MB, which I did like 3MB. I like 3MB a lot. 3MB is one of my favorite comedy stables of all time, next to Too Cool. But Too Cool ended up becoming tag team champions with Rikishi, of course. So this was so basically Drew McIntyre leaves WWE. He traveled the world, became TNA heavyweight champion, like that title belt means anything anymore. Became Evolve champion, really just bulked up. He looked different, comes back to WWE, becomes